Good morning, students. Today I would like to teach new lesson. So that is the making of independent India's constitution. So we know that our country was ruled by the Britishers nearly more than 200 years. So after that we got independent on 15th August 1947. So when the Britishers decided to give the independence to our country, so then our leaders thought that we need to prepare the constitution to rule our country according to our rules and regulations. So that's why uh, they established a Constituent Assembly in 1946. So, before going to preparing of the Indian Constitution, so we should also examine what about the Constitution of the Nepal, what about the Constitution of the Japan. So, how did they prepare Constitution? So, what they faced a struggle to prepare the Constitution. At the same time, when the Japan prepared the Constitution, so it given a message to the world. So, about of the peace. So, their aspiration was world peace. So, world peace. So here, let us observe the background of the Nepal. So in 1959, so they conducted first elections under new constitution by the King Mahendra. So King Mahendra under the new constitution, he conducted elections in 1949. So but after completion of the elections, the newly elected government was overthrown by the once again King Mahendra. So people continuously they started struggle for the purpose of to establish the democratic form of the government in the country. So actually the King Mahendra accepted to follow the constitution, to conduct the election, to arrange the government. After completion of the election, after establishment of the newly government, so that newly government was overthrown by the King Mahendra. So finally, this struggle led to the once again conducting the elections in 1991. So in that elections, Congress party got a huge majority and established government. So the Congress party came to power in Nepal, but there was no fully democratic system. Even establishment of the democratic form of government, so the king had many of the powers. The king left many of the powers. So due to that, the Communist Party was not accepted such type of the democratic where the prince, where the king dominant role. So that's why they did a lot of struggle, lot of movements. So these movements come to clashes among the uh, uh, supporters of the king and anti-supporters of the king. So that led to the civil war in the Nepal. So the movement itself began the armed conflict in between the pro and anti-monarchy groups. So at last, finally, in 2007, in the Nepal they abolished the monarchy system. Then after they are following the uh, democratic form of the government. Even till today, they are facing many of the conflicts to implement the perfect constitution in the country. So let us see. So in a vast country, our country is a vast country, the second most populous country in the world. So in such a futures of our country, so how did our constitution makers prepare the constitution to accept the entire people? So let us read the debates. So how did they prepare the constitution? So the constitution of any country provides a certain basic structure and principles. So any country's constitution, so it contains some of the basic structure and principles how the country should be, how the country should be. So it contains double purpose. The first one is what about the rights of the people and rights of the government, powers of the government, rights of the citizens and powers of the government. So the second thing is, what about the nature and future of the society? So what the plans are going to implement for future development? So these are the basic things in the constitution. So the process of making a constitution is thus a process of debate, discussion, ironing out differences and working out a framework. This is acceptable to all the conflicting opinions. Okay, it is 100% right. So while preparing the constitution for a one country, so within the country, so there are many of the parties are there, but one party should rule the government. If the one party should prepare the constitution without consulting the other parties, so there may be lot of the differences, there may be lot of the conflicts. So the such type of the constitution may not be implemented for a long time within the country. That's why, so while preparing the Indian constitution, so they kept the party of the government. So they took the decisions of the other parties, opposition parties, by consulting the by making the debates, by consulting the opinions of the other parties, by receiving the opinions from the people. So all round, so they accepted all round activities of the people. Then after they prepared the final constitution. That's why our Indian constitution till we are following without any conflicts. So let us see how our Indian constitution was prepared. The making of Indian constitution. So when the Britishers decided to give the independence to our country, so in 1946, so we established a Constituent Assembly. So the cabinet mission, so according to cabinet mission, so we established a Constituent Assembly in 1946. So who were the members in this Constituent Assembly? So in 1946, we know that we conducted elections in the provinces. So those provinces, the elected leaders were there to the provinces assemblies. Okay, so these provinces assembly members, so indirectly, so elected to the members of the Constituent Assembly. Those who elected by the people, so these members were nominated the people to the Constituent Assembly. So members were elected indirectly to the Constituent Assembly, not directly elected to the Constituent Assembly. So we know that when the Britishers were ruling our country, so under direct British rule, direct British rule means here the Britishers ruled our country directly, some part of our country, and many of the other princely states were there. They were under the control of the Britishers, but they didn't rule those princely states. So under the direct British control, so the nominated members were 292. So in Constituent Assembly, the 292 members came from the province assembly indirectly. So in that members, so many of the Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, according to their population, these members nominated to the Constituent Assembly. So then the many of the princely states were there. In that princely states, so by consulting the princes, they nominated 93 members to the Constituent Assembly to prepare the constitution. So in this entire Constituent Assembly, they followed reservation for women and reservation for scheduled caste. So in these members, 26 members belongs to the scheduled caste and 9 members belongs to the women. So in these members, 69% of the members belongs to the Indian National Congress, because at that time the strongest party was the Indian National Congress. So while the Britishers partitioning our country, so on 14th August 1947, we know that Pakistan was separated from the India and it became a independent country. So on that day onwards, this Constituent Assembly was also set up under the control of the Pakistan to prepare their constitution. So in 13th December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru so given a tremendous speech to inspire the nation. So the Constitution of India, to preparing the Constitution of India, so not only with the help of these members, by consulting the opposition parties, by consulting the many other people, by consulting the general people through newspapers, so, through letters. So in many of the medium of things, so we should take the advices from the all round people. So by that, so we need to prepare the constitution. So here, so once we should keep what about your agenda of your party. So we should keep aside to prepare the constitution. We should come forward as a common understanding. So by making common understanding, we should prepare the constitution. So just so while we are preparing the constitution, we should keep. So what about the agendas of all the parties? We should come forward with a common understanding to prepare the constitution which encourage, which inculcate future development of the nation, as well as which constitution brings a good name in the entire world. The world should recognize India is one of the best country in the world. In such a constitution, we should prepare. That's why we should come forward with a common understanding. So reading Constituent Assembly debates. So the after completion of the constitution, so after completion of the constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar so submitted the constitution before the Constituent Assembly in 1948. So here you should read about of the speech of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Honorable President Sir, I introduce the draft constitution as settled by the drafting committee and move that it be taken into consideration. So here, so the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, what about the Constituent Assembly given responsibility to prepare the constitution to the drafting committee? So there is a separate committee is there, that is drafting committee. So the chairman Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. So under the chairman of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so they prepared the constitution according to what about the guidelines given by the Constituent Assembly. So they completely 100% followed the advices, guidance, directions of the Constituent Assembly. So then they submitted to the Constituent Assembly for the purpose of debate. So they prepared the constitution. So not only these persons, they arranged the committees in the Constituent Assembly like Union Powers Committee, the Union Constitution Committee, the Provincial Constitution Committee, Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, so minorities, tribal areas. So likewise, so they arranged several committees. These committees so studied the constitutions of the various countries. By studying various countries, and they toured various countries and observed the system of the constitution, how they are implementing in their countries, what about the benefits of that constitution to the nations. So among those constitution, so whichever is possible to our country, whichever is useful to our country, whichever is benefit to our country, they received many of the things from the other constitutions. You see, we received fundamental rights from the American Constitution. We received fundamental duties from Russian Constitution. So we received the parliamentary system of the government from the Britain. So likewise, we received many of the things from the other constitutions which are very suitable for our country. So in this constitution, this prepared constitution, so it contains 395 articles and 8 schedules. 8 schedules. So this constitution also put to the public for more than 8 months. So at that time, so there was a lot of time to the people to study the constitution, to understand the constitution, to raise the doubts, to raise the criticism against that constitution. So there was a much time to express their opinions, their advices to the constituent assembly. So by receiving so many of the advices, so they received many of the letters from the people. By following all that advices, so they conducted a debate in the constituent assembly. So finally, so they modified many of the things what the draft constitution prepared by the constitution. After that, the final constitution was accepted by the constituent assembly on 26th November 1949, and it was came into force on 26th January 1950. So the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said, if a prepared constitution placed in the hands of the one of the law student, so definitely he raised two questions. That is, what is the form of government and what is the form of constitution? What is the form of government? What is the form of constitution? So let us start with the first question. So what is the form of government? So the form of government, so the head of the Indian Union is the President of India. The head of the Union is President of India. So you see in America, so the head of the nation is also President, but they are following the presidential system, whereas in our country we are following the parliamentary system. But in both the places, the head of the institution or the head of the nation is the president. But there are lot of difference to the American type of presidential system, Indian type of the parliamentary system. So let us observe what are the differences between the powers of the President of the America, powers of the President of India. You see, in America, so he is the chief head of the executive. So under the American president, the administration is also vested with him. So under the help of the secretaries in different departments, he ruled the nation. So he has not bound to the advices of his secretaries, and also he can dismiss any of the secretary. So that power has kept with President of the America. So as compared to the India, so our President of India is also behave as head of the nation, but like a king of the British Parliament. So in the British country, the king is the main ruler of the country, but he didn't have so many of the powers. The power kept with Parliament. Likewise, in our country, so we have a head of the nation is President of India, but he has very limited power. So he is not head of the executive, and also he has to follow the advices what about given by the ministers. He must and should follow what about the ministers advice to president, he must and should follow. Whereas in America, the president so never follows the secretary's advices. So either he may follow, neither he follow nor dismiss the secretaries. So whereas in our country, the president didn't have power to dismiss the ministers. So when they possess the majority in the parliament. And also our president is the symbol of the nation, but not ruler of the nation. Just he was a ceremonial symbol of the nation, not a ruler of the nation. So this is the parliamentary form of government in our country we are following. The difference between the American president and Indian president. Next, the federalism. So federalism, let us come to, so in the history, So there was a two kinds of the systems were there. That is the unitary system and federal system. So we are following the federal system. So let us observe what is unitary system and what is federal system. So in unitary system, the supremacy of the central government. In unitary system, which government follows the unitary system, there the central government plays the superior role. So there is completely absence of the sovereign of the polities, sovereign of the polities. So there is no powers given to the states. All the states are under the control of the central government. So whereas come to the federal constitution, so we are following the federal constitution. In the federal constitution, so there is a central polity and subsidiary polities. So you see in our country there is a central government and state government. So by each being sovereign, so you see in the states the CMs are sovereign in the respective fields. So we are following the dual polity. So the dual polity resembles the American Constitution. Okay, American Constitution is also following the dual policy. So as well as our country is also following the dual policy according to the government. So we have a central government, we have a state government. So the authorities, the powers distributed among the central government and state government. So there is a central list, the powers distributed to central list, state list and concurrent list. So here the what about the powers given to the central government? The central government has full rights to prepare the laws on that specific items. So like the state government, so in the state list what about the things are there? The state government are eligible to prepare the laws by independently without consulting the central government. But whereas come to the concurrent list, the state government should prepare the laws as well as the central government also prepare the laws. But whenever the contradictory, the state government prepared laws are contradictory to the central government, then the central government laws are imposed. So this is the dual policy of our country. So but we are following the single citizenship. Even though we are following the federal system, we have no separate state citizenship and nation citizenship. We have only one citizenship. So this citizenship, the single citizenship, inculcate the people we are in unity. So we are also following the single judiciary system. So in our country there is no separate judiciary system for the states as well as the country. So we are following the single judiciary system. So the head of the judiciary system is the Supreme Court. So all the states possess the high courts. So these high courts run under the guidance of the Supreme Court. So there is no separate laws for every state. So all the states must and should be follow the same laws. So so uniformity, fundamental laws, civil, criminal. So we are also following the uniformity of the fundamental laws and civil criminal laws. So, and also we are following the common administrative system in the country. So the central government arranged the civil services department. So this civil services department recruits the officers of the Indian administrative officer and Indian police service. Okay, these persons were very important persons in the country to administer in the same system all over the country. That's why, so even we are following the federal system, so we are within the unity. We are the union of our country, right? So all the laws are same in the country. There is no separate laws in separate states like divorce, so inheritance, or property act, marriage act. What about the act you discuss? All the laws and acts are equal in the all states. Thank you.